In the remote hills of Black Hollow, West Virginia, where fog coils around the trees like breath from the earth itself, lies a weathered old farmhouse. It stands crooked and quiet, surrounded by acres of dense forest and a history whispered only in hushed voices at the town's single diner. In October of 2009, Mark and Elaine Crenshaw moved into that house with their 2 young children, Aiden and Lily. Mark was a retired Army sergeant, hardened by war and looking to heal. Elaine, a nurse who had seen too much in too many emergency rooms, was drawn to the promise of solitude. They bought the house for a price that should have raised questions, but sometimes hope makes people blind. From the moment they arrived at Black Hollow Farm, the land seemed wrong. Not cursed exactly, that would be too simple. Felt quiet in a way that made your ears ring. Alive in a way that made your skin itch. Their dog, Baxter, refused to cross the threshold. On their first night, Aiden said someone was whispering to him from inside the closet. Lily said a girl named Maisie was showing her around the orchard. Mark chuckled. Elaine didn't. The days were mostly normal. But the nights grew stranger. Elaine began waking up at exactly 3:17 a.m. with no explanation. She'd hear creaking footsteps in the hallway, but everyone was asleep. Objects moved on their own. The crucifix in the kitchen turned upside down. The attic light flicked on and off by itself, even though the bulb had burned out. And then there were the mirrors. They fogged up in the dead of night, even in freezing temperatures, sometimes with fingerprints on the glass. One morning, she found a tiny handprint on the upstairs mirror. Lily was still asleep downstairs. She started writing everything down in a leather-bound journal. On November 13th, she wrote, "The cellar smells like sulfur. The walls are damp. I feel something watching me when I'm alone." Maisie told Lily a secret. She said Aiden needs to be quiet and go into the well. Mark didn't believe any of it. He was a man of fact, not feeling. To him, the house was just old and creaky. He told Elaine she was letting the stress get to her. But Elaine was already digging into the property's past, and what she found made her blood run cold. In 1896, the house belonged to the Pritchard family. All 7 members were found dead in the living room. A supposed murder-suicide, though investigators noted strange details. The father's eyes had been sewn shut. No tool was ever recovered. The case was closed and buried. In 1942, the house was leased to a religious sect known as the Red Wake, a fringe Appalachian spiritualist group. They believed Black Hollow was a thin place, a gateway between worlds. One night, all 14 members disappeared. Bowls of soup were still hot on the table. Not a single footprint in the snow. Then in 1974, a folklore student named Erin Daly vanished while researching ghost lore in the region. Her journal, found weeks later near the collapsed well, ended with the final entry. "The soil here breathes at night." Elaine tried to convince Mark to leave. He refused. "This is our home," he said. "We're not running from shadows." But the shadows weren't giving them a choice. On the evening of January 6, 2010, Mark called 911. His voice was hollow, shaky. He told the operator that his wife and children were missing. When deputies arrived, they found the farmhouse unlocked. Dinner was still warm. The TV was on. But there was no sign of Elaine, Aiden, or Lily. No broken glass. No blood. No footprints in the fresh snow outside. Only one thing stood out. Every mirror in the house, from the bathroom to the bedroom vanity, had been shattered. From the inside, police questioned Mark for days. He didn't cry. He didn't yell. He just repeated the same thing. "I was out in the shed. I came back in and they were gone." He was never charged. There was no evidence of foul play. No leads. No suspects. No bodies. The case went cold. But the house didn't. In March, a paranormal researcher named Dr. Janice Rowe arrived with a small team. They set up EVP recorders, thermal cameras, and motion sensors. What they captured still circulates the darker corners of the internet. In one audio clip, a woman's voice whispers, "We are still here. We are still here. We are still." Then static. Then the sound of a child laughing. Another recording features a low, growling voice that mutters. The hollow takes what it's owed. Dr. Rowe left after just 3 nights. She never spoke about the case again. Her assistant later claimed that she had a breakdown and withdrew from public life. The only thing she reportedly said was, "What's at Black Hollow isn't dead. It's not a ghost. It's the place itself." 3 years later, on Halloween night, 2013, Mark Crenshaw disappeared. His pickup truck was found parked on the old dirt path leading into the woods behind the farmhouse. Inside, deputies found a flashlight, his phone, and a handwritten note. It read, "I finally heard her voice. She says they never left. I'm going in." No trace of him was ever found. Since then, no one has lived at Black Hollow Farm. The real estate listing has quietly expired. Locals avoid the area. Teenagers dare each other to get close but rarely make it past the old rusted gate. Those who have ventured near the property claim the air feels thick, like being watched. One hiker said he lost 3 hours after walking past the barn. Another claimed he heard his own name whispered back to him from the trees. And the well is still there, covered now with a rusted grate. But sometimes late at night, if the wind is still, some say you can hear a child crying from beneath it. The Crenshaw family was never found. Officially, they are listed as missing. But among those who know, the investigators, the archivists, the psychics, a different theory has taken root. They became part of the land. And the land remembers. So ask yourself, do ghosts haunt houses? Or do some houses haunt the living? Because some places don't want to be lived in. They want to be fed. If you're enjoying this story, please like and subscribe to our channel for more exciting content.